I'm just starting to wonder, do you want to go see a gynecologist?
I'm sure it's fine. Mom?
Lindy appears to have MRKH syndrome.
What is that?
It's a congenital disorder resulting in Lindy being born without a uterus, cervix, or vaginal canal.
But the vagina really is just an amazing muscle. You're just going to have to stretch it out.
Wow, that was a clip from the film. Yeah. This clip from the film fitting in a semi-autobiographical feature written and directed by Molly McGlynn. It follows a 16-year-old girl who's unexpectedly diagnosed with a rare reproductive condition.
So to tell us more, we have with us in studio the star cast of the film, Maddie Ziegler and Emily Hampshire. Welcome, both of you.
Maddie, we were talking backstage, and you're playing this deeply personal role that, in fact, is connected to the director Molly McGlynn. She was, of course, diagnosed with this rare congenital disorder when she was 16, and I'm wondering, does that portraying somebody who it's their story to a certain extent, does that put an added pressure as an actor on you?
Absolutely. That was the first time I've ever done something like this, and in a way, it was easier because I didn't have to replicate any sort of, I didn't have to mimic her mannerisms or anything, but I wanted to do it justice for her, and it's because it was so deeply personal, and the fact that she trusted me enough to take on that role, it was I'm so honored, so yeah.
And speaking of acting, I mean, Emily, you're playing single mom recovering from breast cancer. What was it like to get prepared for that? What was that character like for you?
Well, I definitely spoke to people who've been through that, because I haven't, and I learned a lot from their experiences. But also, this was also based on Molly's mother. So I think it was kind of what Maddie was saying. This is Molly's whole experience, and just wanting to live up to that, but also just honor the script. In a sense, what I loved about Molly sharing her experience is that it was. We call it a traumedy, a coming-of-age traumedy, and it's funny. Like, this is something she went through that's really difficult, but she tells it with such gallows humor in a way that makes you be able to access it.
I mean, it's a coming-of-age story, and it's a unique story, and yet I think that everyone can relate to that idea of, feeling kind of out of touch with their body and not knowing what's going on in their body. So did it harken back for you? I know you were playing the mom, but were you sort of going back to your teenage experiences?
Oh, yeah, and
right?
I wonder if other moms feel this way, because I'm not a mother, and I felt like, oh my gosh, if I have a teenage daughter, I'm going to remember all the terrible things I did as a teenager. And you start to relive those things. So yeah, it puts it in perspective. It also makes you feel bad and sorry for, sorry, Mom.
Yeah, totally.
It's true.
You played a great fake mom, though.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks, you were the best fake daughter I've ever had.
Very sweet. So, Maddie, we know the film explores important questions, big questions for all of us to ponder, like what is sex? What is gender? What makes a woman if she doesn't bleed or can't have intercourse or if she can't carry a baby? These are really big questions, and I think it is both joyful and it's comedic, as both of you have said. But why do you think that comedy was the vehicle to tell this dramatic story?
Yeah, I think I'm sure so many people can relate that the only way to cope sometimes is through humor. And I think that's why this film, there's so much levity to it, because even in the dark moments, sometimes it's just like all you can do is laugh, because it's like you can't change anything. And that's why Molly's so special. And I think this film explores so much, like you said, sexuality, gender, womanhood, finding yourself and not knowing who you are at a teenager or even as an adult. It's hard to find yourself and know what you like in life. And so I think everyone can relate to this film and see themselves in one of the characters. So it's really special in that regard.
I mean, I think, I mean, oftentimes, teenagehood is fraught and it feels so heavy and there's so much shame and embarrassment around these things. And I think what really underlines this film is this idea that wearing your differences on your sleeve as a kind of badge of honor is so important. And I'm just wondering, did that sort of trickle down, like that kind of message, did that trickle down, did that kind of get inside of you at all?
I mean, I feel like on set it was a very safe environment. It was made from the top down, from Molly to everyone on set was. Yeah, you could be your different weird self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always saying that in my house, right? Like I always say to Jaya, like let's tap into our weird. Like we celebrate. I love weird. Like I think that, and not that this is a weird thing, but it's just like instead of being ashamed of it.
What makes you different
Right.
makes you special.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a way, by the end of this film, I feel like it sounds cheesy, but I do feel like I learned to love myself more after the end of this process because it was so vulnerable and we just had to let every wall down. And it really, there's a monologue that my character says, which is just like, you can all cancel me, you know, whatever, like whatever happens. But it doesn't, she found her power and she claimed it back. And I think that's really special. And I took that personally into my everyday life, which is really cool.
Yeah. The story's really cool. Where you shot was really interesting too. You shot this a couple summers ago in Sudbury, Ontario. Shout out Sudbury. What was that like?
Well, I've shot in Sudbury many times before, and but I've never shot there in not the freezing cold.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't freezing cold. I mean, it wasn't the cold I've felt before.
Yeah.
And so I realized Sudbury is really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's actually very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very,
like
very beautiful.
the lake and
Yeah.
yeah.
was-
See the big nickel?
Oh yeah,
Right?
I did. I did. It was so interesting that there wasn't an Apple store, but there was a Sephora, which was awesome. Okay. Yeah. It was cool.
This isn't just a teenage coming of age story, as you've hinted at. I think this is a story that everyone can learn something about and relate to. I'm just curious about who do you think that this is for, but also like what has been the reaction from audiences so far, or is that still to come?
It's been very emotional, especially from the MRKH community, seeing other young girls that have watched the film and coming to me and crying, saying I saw myself for the first time is like, it's like so emotional to hear. And I feel so lucky to be a voice and bring light to this community because they are so incredibly special. And I don't, even for me, I didn't know about this condition previous to doing this film, and I've learned so much along the way, and I'm so grateful to have had this experience and have more knowledge and bring light to this community, even the intersex community as well. It's been a real joy to be able to learn about them.
And I think, like you said, it's not just a coming of age. It is a coming of age movie, but I found it to be also a coming of middle age movie, and a mother-daughter story in a way that she calls me a MILF at one point. I've never. First time I've ever been called a MILF. Well, hey, I took it.
That was very off the cuff. I don't know why that came out, but it worked, and we ran with it.
We ran with it.
And
I
this is
get shirts. I thought we were going to do that. Next time.
Okay, next time you're on the show. This is a lot of fun. We can't wait to see it for everybody else as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we want to tell you, Fitting In is in theaters on February the 2nd, so make sure you go check it out.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.